Nobody would have ever known some hundreds or thousands of light years ago that on this place, on our very home planet Earth, when life would arise and when things would begin to evolve and when thinking beings like us would evolve, we would kind of puzzle out a lot of things that's happening on this galactic pathway. You know, when you see somebody outside, or when you see a tree, or maybe when you're just looking at me, where do you see this tree, or where do you see me? Actually, you see me inside you. Because you know the law of physics, which talks of the rays of light coming because of the presence of light. The rays of light will come, hit your eyes, and the convex lens of the pupil, it will converge, and the image is formed, the inverted image is formed on the retina. So what you see outside is actually inside. We must know that. And that's exactly what I'm telling today, that with all our cognition, we will still not be able to see, visualize, and analyze a lot of things that's happening around. Therefore, we must depend on something much more than our cognition. Much more than a cognition. People use science to make sense of the whole world of reality, and some people use the spiritual textbooks to access the real world and make sense of it. But I'm telling you, there is a power in the now, and you must access the power of now, like Eckhart Tolle would say, power of now. All these books of spirituality would probably teach you how to go to heaven, but they're not going to teach you how the heavens go. You know this pole star, which is actually 300 light years ago. You know what you understand with this fact that it is 300 light years ago? It means that the light that started from there reaches Earth after 300 years. That means what we see today has actually begun from space 300 light years ago. So what does that tell us? It tells us that we don't see things as it is. We see things as it was. Therefore, many people experiencing a staring sense of wonder when they first confront this truth. Why? This is a simple truth. We must be willing to see things as it is, not as we wanted to see, not using a projection, because everything we see sometimes is in the past. We must be willing to give present a chance. We must therefore understand our shortcomings and spend a lot of time to understand our core relationships, the core relationships that make us, that matter. Understand the characteristics of that in the linear way, in the three-dimensional way. Look at it from all possible directions that you have, because that's what's going to keep you alive. That's fueling you. If you don't work with your core relationships like your parents, your spouse, your children, your siblings, then what is the point you go to heal the world? Go within deeper and work on the characteristics. We must therefore be willing to drop our arrogance, drop our ego, and to be humble, and to know that we will age, or maybe we'll go even before and return to dust. When I'm saying we must humble and we must be filled with gratitude, it's not because we may not age with humbleness, or we may not return to dust if we are filled with gratitude, but because our transition will be smooth. The transition will be smooth not just for us, but for also the people we live with, people we associate with. Therefore, always remember the roots from where we came from, or where we can probably be, or what could suddenly happen to us, because none of this is because of our merit. It's all given to us because of something unimaginably bigger than us. How vulnerable we are, aren't we, on the face of adversity, because our thoughts and feelings are not fully under our control, are they? We must therefore pray to something larger than us, to this universe, to this whole galactic force, so that we are kept away from these unwanted environments that creates the unwanted triggers in us that will put us in a bottomless pitfall, or we may just get lost in this great darkness. We will not only then create danger to our ecosystem and our survivals and our relationships, we'll also end up destroying ourselves. So therefore, be sure that we identify that all that glitters is not gold. Remember that song, Stairway to Heaven? Because we know sometimes everything can have multiple meaning in multiple contexts, because we don't see everything in one context. And everything changes. Nothing is permanent in this ever-changing world. Sometimes all our thoughts are misleading. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we are so human, vulnerable. Therefore, we must wonder to learn how we can enhance our awareness, to begin to shine, to begin to grow, and to enhance our aura. and turn everything to be wonderful. The future of our life, the future of everything that we touch, the future of our relationships, our organization, our leadership, the future of all these things, our ecosystem, our environment, therefore, is determined only and only by our wisdom and by our courage. You, therefore, must be willing to go beyond, far beyond, and be willing to stand there where nobody has stood before in your life, because you are the custodian of your life's meaning and of your life's purpose. Rely on nothing. Seek no external approval. Go within. Go deeper and deeper, because the more deeper you go, your learning begins. Your connection with the unconscious competence begins. Be willing to go deeper and deeper. The more deeper you go, that's where you will find all the answers. Be willing to go in these darkness, in these valleys where you will find yourself, and that's where you will find the wisdom.
If you just liked what you saw, hit the like button right now. And if you want to see more of such interesting videos, subscribe to our channel and keep the notification on. Write to me in the comment section and let us know what is that you want to hear more